I'm out here in the beautiful British countryside, and this is my essay to the engineers of the Grenadier. I've spent 13 years fixing, driving and thinking about Defenders. I cut my teeth as a fleet user in Central America and Africa, and I now run one of the largest sources of parts information for Land Rovers on the internet. Here are 14 or more things that I want from the new Grenadier. Now, my perspective is of a 4x4 fleet user who wants a 4x4 utility vehicle that can handle the rough stuff and will help me out when things go wrong. I'm starting to get really excited about the Grenadier now for two reasons. One, Land Rover shafted us with the new Defender. And the second reason is that they've been to visit my employer. And I'm not going to talk about the usual stuff in this video. Is it going to have ECUs? Why are the 4-link suspension arms so short? What's the 0 to 60 time? I don't care about that stuff. So I'm putting my weight behind the Grenadier. I may even buy one new, who knows, if they take account of these 14 or more things that I want from the Grenadier. Okay, I've come inside now to talk about specifics and split my wish list into vehicle attributes and parts attributes. I would just say that this video was recorded after episode 3 from the Grenadier team came out, so at this moment when I'm recording we know about the chassis and suspension and some answers to a few other questions, but nothing more at this stage. I know the Grenadier is going to have an ECU, that's fine, but I want it to be able to run with all the sensors unplugged. I want to be able to take the hub off without having to split the brake lines. I want to be able to change the brake disc without taking the hub off. I want every bolt and nut in the engine bay to use the same spanner size. I want the engine oil filter to be easy to reach from above. I want a handbrake that works on the calipers, not on the transmission. I want a poverty spec option. I want to choose not to have a radio, or electric windows, or heated seats, or heated windscreen, or carpets. I wouldn't want my drivers to get distracted with toys, or to break things that don't need to be there. A manual gearbox would be good, and here's why. I would want my drivers to think about the decisions they're taking off-road. I want them to not kill themselves by driving too fast or putting too much strain on the transmission. I want to say to them, never go into 5th gear, or always use low range 2nd or 3rd in deep mud. I want them to learn that decision. But the electronics could help here. Having a custom speed limiter configured by the fleet manager would be handy. And then maybe a really low speed limit when the diff lock's engaged, so people don't drive it at highway speeds on tarmac without forgetting to disengage it. I do accept the auto gearbox argument. You don't have to worry about it being in the wrong gear. And bigger engines do put more strain on manual gearboxes. For example, I remember being told in Malawi, Land Cruisers are great. You can pull away in 4th gear. You can, but now I've found the reason why the input bearings on the gearbox are knackered. So, Grenadier, maybe you can convince me about an auto gearbox. I want a driver's seat close to the door. That's right, the feature of a Defender that so many people complain about. When I'm driving off-road, I want to be able to see what my wheels are doing, not looking at a central 3D video of what the sensors are telling me the vehicle is doing. I want to see it with my own eyes. I want HD upgrades from the factory. Suspension? Yeah, fine, but that's not what I mean. Axle shafts. Diffs made from unobtainium. Prop shafts. I'll pay for it. I just want to know what they're made from. I want to be able to buy it later and fit it to the vehicle myself when I have the money. I know you're going for stub axles and separate bearings, which is great. And I want both of those bearings to be the same size, unlike the Land Cruiser 70 series. I want to buy one set of bearings and know I have them all in stock. But I do want one of those hub seals for Land Cruisers from Terrain Tamer that's dual-lipped and you fit it flush in the hub. Unlike Defender, where you have to get the depth exactly right. I want to be able to download the in-car telemetry, GPS, speed, revs, etc. so that I'm able to tie the performance review of my drivers to their driving style. That's something I'd want to use as a manager. I don't care about engines, really. I don't care if it's twin turbo, 16 cylinders or 9 litre capacity. I just want it to be reliable and have enough power for the payload so that it doesn't get stressed too much and wear out after 100,000 miles. I don't want to be pushed into my seat when accelerating. It's not a sports car. I want it to be forgiving to repair after accidents. Defenders can get written off in fairly minor prangs. If the front wheel on a Defender got hit at the wrong angle, you'd punch through the hockey stick through the chassis, and now you're into really complex geometry welding to sort it out. It's kind of written off the vehicle. Likewise, a low-speed rollover shouldn't write off the vehicle. The roof and upper body take a beating in a rollover, and they should be replaceable. That said, I do want a roll cage option built into the design of the vehicle. It's the biggest risk in 4x4 utility vehicles. I would expect to roll up to about 5% of a fleet per year in some of the tougher parts of the world. The British Army rolled 19 Wolves in 6 weeks once in Belize. Both of my Defenders in Belize got rolled within 3 months. I want to be able to buy the vehicle direct from your website and it to be delivered to my house. I'm busy. I don't want to spend my entire Saturday morning in a BMW dealership, which I presume is the dealer network you're going to use, being upsold something more sporty or profitable by someone in a suit. And then once they realise that I just want something rugged and simple, they bring out Jimmy the T-Boy to take me on a test drive. I'm not interested in that crap. There's a very successful electric car company that does it that way at the moment. Enough said. So moving on to the parts. I'm really interested in this because of the parts website I run. I see a lot of shit go down, but also because parts are the difference between a vehicle being reliable or not. I don't care if it breaks down, but if I can fix it at the side of the road and get parts, it's all fine. The UJs on my Defender failed on a 700-mile round trip recently. I removed the prop with 2 spanners and I put it in diff lock. Job done. So here we go. The Grenadier needs free, open and accessible parts and workshop information on a mobile-friendly website. I don't want to pay £60 for a book that's out of date as soon as it's printed. I don't want to pay £20 a month subscription to fix my vehicle once a year when I'm lying in a ditch. I want to be able to see what's wrong and find the right part that I need to replace. I want every independent garage up and down the country to have the same chance at fixing my vehicle as I do. That's what easy to fix means to me. Here's a fun example of what the opposite of easy to fix actually means. If you want to fit a brand new Puma engine from Ford into your Defender, you have to have it fitted by a certified mechanic to be able to get any kind of warranty. That certification costs upwards of £6,000. The mechanic has to pay that up front so that your engine has a warranty that is upheld by Ford. They're just trying to make money in the wrong place. That is the opposite of easy to fix. I don't want the manual loaded into the car's computer system. Leaning over the centre touchscreen trying to work out the interface of your custom software is a pain I do not need. I already know how my phone and how websites work. Most places in Africa and Asia have excellent mobile data coverage, even more so than places like the UK. I want to be able to look up the info in the jungle if I want, and not be shafted because I forgot the book. The Grenadier genuine parts should be affordable and should be ordered online from your website. I don't mean £50 for an alternator, I'm not that cheap, but not £600. I would pay £150 for something I knew had the Grenadier seal of approval and was a quality piece of kit. I won't pay for bargain basement cheap shite, which is where we've ended up with the Defender. I want genuine OEM parts to flood the marketplace. In fact, the Grenadier should run a wholesaling business for parts. That's why Britpart, Bearmac and Allmakes have made such a killing, as they let other people be their dealer network. They're good at logistics. They just get the parts into other people's hands. So allow people to set up shop in the deepest parts of Africa, because to me, as a fleet user, parts availability can be a big problem. If the Grenadier currently doesn't have the infrastructure around the world to provide parts when I need them, I would have to do it for my own fleet. That's hassle I don't want. Some countries have customs that take up to a year to release their freight. I'm not even joking, a year. You order a part today, you'll get it in a year's time. I'd prefer that the Grenadier company incentivized others to buy the parts and hold them in their warehouse a year before I need them. The other fact is the Land Rover aftermarket parts industry in the UK was worth at least 160 million a year in 2017. That is the thirst for parts. It's profitable. It can be massively profitable. Beat the wholesalers at their own game and get genuine parts into the hands of your users. If the knockdown copies get in there, the reliability image is destroyed before your vehicle's hardly even been launched. Actually, even better than that, the Grenadier should be made from as many OEM Toyota parts as possible. They're already all over the world. You can just piggyback on the already massive economy of scale. People are worrying about how you're going to get parts into the hands of users. So you just use the parts they've already got. Use a master cylinder from a 70 series Land Cruiser. Use Defender brake calipers. They're already rated at 3.5 tons. Oh, and here's a thought. You could sell Grenadier parts to Defender owners. What? How about that? I'm starting to get really excited about the Grenadier now for 2 reasons. One, Land Rover shafted us with the new Defender. And the second reason is that they've been to visit my employer. For those of you that don't know, my employer runs one of the largest fleets of Defenders in the world. And I don't mean Europe. I mean some of the most tough countries in the world. You'll see from some of my other videos. They went to visit my employer in, one of the toughest, roughest parts of Africa. Now, I don't mean the middle-class playground that is Namibia. They spent 7 days getting stuck up to the wheel arches in mud, digging themselves out. It was hot, it was sweaty. They lived it. They lived what my colleagues experience on a daily basis. Land Rover never went and asked my colleagues what they wanted from the new Defender. And that's what's really impressed me about the Grenadier. So they don't have all the baggage of trying to balance legacy and modernity. They've just gone out there, no pretenses, and just asked people what they want. They've got a very specific vision in mind to build an uncompromising 4x4, and they're articulating that. And they're involving people in the process, and that really speaks to me, actually, which is incentivized me to come and make this video now. The way the Grenadier team are going about this is very interesting to me. It's very engineering led. They're talking about engineering. That's exactly what I wanted the new Defender to be. I wanted to be told how it was a tool for a specific purpose. I wanted to be told about some of the engineering challenges they were going through. I didn't want to be told about reductive lines or premium durability. I don't care about any of that stuff. I'm not looking for the best off-roader. It's not what matters in a utility 4x4 to me. And I don't want the discussion between the Grenadier team and the community to get distracted about off-road angles and axle articulation. We all know that the biggest factor in off-road capability is the driver. It's not the bells and whistles on the vehicle. I want the vehicle to work with me as the driver. It is a tool. I want to learn it. I want to learn how to use it. I don't want it to be making decisions for me or on behalf of me or against me. I'm looking for an adaptable platform that can handle the rough stuff, but you can also drive on just a normal car license. So Grenadier, you've set out to be an uncompromising, easy to fix 4x4. There is the menu. It's over to you. So if you're interested in the Grenadier and you agree with me, let them know these thoughts on social media and see if we can have an influence over this vehicle that we all want to have. If you love Defenders but feel like Land Rover have lost their way, give this video a thumbs up. If you've got a comment, then leave it below. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.